Hello everyone, my name is Michael Berryhill, and today I'll be presenting a speech about my favorite childhood book, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I read this book when I was in the 5th grade. The book begins with the main character, Bilbo Baggins, being voluntold to embark on a great quest along with 13 dwarves and a wizard to reclaim a mountain kingdom and slay a dragon. Along the way, the characters run into several bumps in the road on the way to reclaiming the dwarves' lost homeland, including 3 giant cave trolls, imprisonment by the Goblin King, escape from the creature Gollum, who is also in the Lord of the Rings, escape from the pale orc warlord Azog the Defiler, capture in the ancient forest of Mirkwood by the woodland elves, and the forsaken town on a lake justly named Lake Town. Next, the dwarves go to the foot of the mountain to reclaim their home. To their surprise, the dragon who had taken the mountain many years before was still alive and well. Angered by the dwarves and Bilbo attempting to reclaim their home, Smaug the Magnificent breaks out of the mountain and destroys Lake Town. While doing so, Smaug is shot down by a black arrow using a wind lance operated by Bard the Bargeman. When the men of Lake Town go to the mountain to claim their share of the treasure promised to them by the dwarves, when they pass through the town, the dwarves refuse. In response, the men and elves march against the dwarves. In response to this, the dwarves call upon their armies from a nearby dwarven kingdom, and the 3 begin fighting. While their battle rages on, Azog, along with a massive army of orcs, march on the newly found settlement of the men from Lake Town. Realizing their certain doom if they don't work together, the dwarves, men, and elves band together in order to defeat the orcs. Once the orcs are defeated, the dwarves, men, and elves go their separate ways, with a share of the treasure. After the battle and the reconciliation following, Bilbo returns home. And that's the end of the story. As stated previously, this book is written by J.R.R. Tolkien. According to World Authors 1950 to 1970, Tolkien was born on January 3, 1892, in Bloemfontein in South Africa. He was one of 3 brothers under his parents, Arthur Raoul Tolkien and Mabel Suffield. His family was originally from Birmingham, England, and after his father's death in 1896, his mother took them back to England. Soon after, Tolkien's mother died in 1904. A priest of the congregation of his mother's church would assume care of the boy and properly educate him. He studied linguistics at Exeter College and Oxford and gained his bachelor's in 1915. He served in World War I and then returned home in 1918. After he returned home from war, he began his illustrious teaching career, teaching at several different universities and delivering his famous lectures all over Europe. He wrote one of his most famous books, The Hobbit, in 1937, and it has been dubbed one of the greatest children's books of all time. He was married to Edith Mary Bratt, and they had 3 sons and a daughter together. He went on to continue writing books with the Lord of the Rings collection in the early 1950s, along with several others. He received several distinguished awards and positions in his career, including his CBE, or knighthood, in 1972. Tolkien lived a long and amazing life, bringing so much knowledge and wisdom to English literature. He died in 1973 and was survived by his 4 children. This has been my speech on my favorite childhood storybook.